so that you can get free. But in order to get free, you got to get naked. So today, say, I am ready to get free.
I am ready to get free.
But I understand. I got to first be willing. To get naked. So ladies, let's get naked. About 3 years ago, I'm going to take you on a journey. About 3 years ago, I looked in the mirror, and what I saw was a reflection of someone I did not like, someone I did not love, and someone I did not know. But the reflection was me. And so literally what I realized was I had been going to and from in life, but I was held hostage by not other people, but by myself. Because what I did was be afraid to get vulnerable. And I didn't want other people to know. I was so concerned about what everybody else thought about me or how they perceived or felt me that I forgot to feel and be who I loved being. So I no longer knew myself. I no longer loved myself. And all I could remember was it was always daylight, but inside I felt it was always dark. And why? Because I was fearful of what other people thought about me. And so who in the room is fearful? Because you feel like, I don't know if someone's going to judge me. I don't know if someone's going to feel like she's not worthy enough. So I'm going to give my fear sticker to you. Now, she's a fear because that means you have it, but you can release it now. Because you just took it from me and now you can release it. The problem is we're not releasing the things that we're going through. And that's what's keeping us from being free. Until you're willing to deal and let go, then you're going to always feel like you're in bondage. Now, some of you are, because this was me, I can't get before people until I'm perfect. I can't let my Father use me until I have been purged completely. Some of you are waiting to be perfect, and God is saying, look, let me use you now, because in your imperfection is where I'll build you the most. But you're waiting on being perfect. So who's my perfect people in the room? Any perfect? All right, so let me give you, I'm perfect. Fine, I'm perfect, and take it. So no longer do you have to feel perfect to feel like you should start moving. Start moving today. You're never, ever going to be perfect. That's what we must realize. You will never be perfect. In actuality, you shouldn't need to be perfect. Because if you want to be perfect, that means you're trying to be something that somebody else wants you to be. And it's not who you desire to be. And we want to be who we want to be. So now my next one. Every time opportunity came, I talked myself out of it. Because to much is given, much is what? Required. And so I was afraid of what success looked like. So I stayed in bondage of, I'm okay being comfortable, because if I get a little uncomfortable, that means people are now going to be what? Watching me. That means now I have to give more of me. That means I have to tell my story. I have to tell people that I was broken. I had to tell people there was nights when I cried in the shower because I didn't want my daughter to hear me crying. I didn't want her to know I was unhappy with who I was. I didn't want her to know I was still carrying the shame from things I did in my past. I didn't want her to know I was disappointed in who I was. But see, what happens is we forget to forgive ourselves when He's already forgiven us. But we are holding on to it. So who is disappointed today in themselves? So I'm going to give you my disappointment. You'll have to come closer and stand because the mic won't go all the way there. So you may take disappointment. So no longer do you have to be disappointed in who you are. See, today I told you, right? In order to get free, you got to get naked. So I thank you guys for being even willing to say that is me. Right? Because that's where you are already taking the first step. When you can admit what you're dealing with, you already took the first step to your healing. But as long as you are in denial, you can't move. And so I was in denial, so I wasn't moving. But the minute I realized it's okay what happened, right? Some of you are still holding on to whether you were molested, whether you were raped as a young kid, whether you had something traumatic that happened in your life. And so some of you are still in that space and you can't get to your next level because you're still left back in the level of the past. See, our past will hold us hostage. I promise you, your past will hold you hostage. And so if you don't mind letting me, can you stand behind me here? So she represents the past, right? And so how many of you are still holding on? How many of you are still holding on and allowing your past to hold you? And so the things that you've done in the past, the hurt that maybe your parents did to you, the disappointment that maybe a boyfriend said they want to break up, whatever it might be in your life, you're allowing your past to keep you from taking your first step. So you can't walk because you're still trying to hold the past. The past is pulling back and you're trying to move, but the past is pulling back. See, if you don't let the past go, it's going to continue to pull on you. Are you willing to let your past go? Because you can't walk in your power and you can't walk in your purpose still being held back in your past. So today it's time to get free. Get naked and release the past. Put it out on the table and deal with it. Some of you are afraid to even say what happened to you. Some of you are afraid to even say, I was afraid to tell people I was broken. Because when I showed up, I looked good, like I do today. When I showed up, I looked good. But behind the looking good and the pretty pink and the dresses and all the nice high heel shoes, I was hurting bad. I was a broken person. But I stand before you today unbreakable because I realized my past had no more power over my present. So you got to be willing to release your past so you can operate in your present. So I stop allowing my past to be my self-sabotage. Right? So we're holding on to things that we did before, so we're self-sabotaging where we need to be today. So where is my self-sabotager in the room? Do we have someone who's a self-sabotager? Okay, let me give it to you. Because we're releasing things today, for sure. Then what I realized was I moved from being a self-sabotager in my life, but what I realized was I had created a life of isolation. I was lonely because I wasn't sharing with anyone else about how I felt. Do you know how lonely it is to go through the darkness by yourself? Do you know how lonely it is to just feel the way you feel and not tell anyone else what you're feeling? So now nobody can help you but you, and you won't even help you because you're still what? Broken. But nobody else knows what's going on with you. So how could they be your peace in the middle of the storm? See, some of us in a storm and we have no peace. But you can't be your own peace until you get right. And so you got to be willing to let go of things. And so in order to let go, you got to get from that space of feeling lonely. Get to that, because lonely means you can't be vulnerable. Right? Lonely means, oh my God, I got to be vulnerable. I got to tell somebody what I'm going through. So I'd rather be lonely than be vulnerable. How many vulnerable people? It's okay to be vulnerable. Can I tell you, in your vulnerability is where you'll grow the most. Because in your vulnerability means you're willing to put it out there. You're willing to say it. And can I tell you, your mess is your message. Everything you are going through is opportunity for you can share with someone else. So I told you I came all the way to New Delhi, India, so I can make you aware that it's time to get free. But in order to get free, you got to get naked. And so in getting naked means you got to be willing to be vulnerable. And there is nothing wrong with being vulnerable. And when I realized that, I felt a sense of freedom. Because I was no longer held hostage or bondage to what other people felt. Remember, we started off saying we worried about what everybody else thinks. But you should only be worried about what you think about you. Because what other people feel is not as bad as what you feel. You know how they say, oh, it's okay if you talk to yourself. Well, that's a lie. If all you're saying is negative stuff to yourself, it's not okay. There's no one else to counteract what you're saying. So if you say, oh, today you're not really nice, you're not really good, and you don't tell yourself you're amazing, you're wonderful, you're awesome. So who is going to tell you that if all you're doing is telling yourself you're not good, you're not a good mom, or you messed up, or you didn't make an impact? You got to be willing to share who you are and get out of being lonely. Did we have somebody to take lonely? Who's lonely? Okay. And lonely is so many versions of lonely. Lonely is when you feeling like, oh, I'm ready to get married, or I need a man. Come on now, somebody. How many single sisters we got in here? Anybody single? That's right. So lonely can be in a lot of phases, okay? Because you're just ready for that next level. Now, here's the biggest one of all, doubt. Where are all my doubt sisters in the building? See, that's huge. Because when you doubt who you are and you don't believe in who you are, how do you expect other people to believe you? If you have something that you're doing and you're not vested in it, and you're not doing it and you're not 100% committed to it, then how could somebody else be 100% committed to your vision and your goal and you're not? See, I can't believe you're ready to get free if you don't show me you're ready to get free. I can't believe that you feel like you want to get naked when you're still trying to stay fully clothed. See, some of us still trying to stay fully clothed and say we're naked. Because again, if we get too naked, Sue or Mary next to me might see me and she'll judge me. Her judgment has no power over you, but the power comes from you. So if you're willing to release all your power to everyone else, you are going to always stay in bondage. But you got to be willing to take your own power and hold on to it. So stop doubting that you're great and claim your grace. Everybody say, I'm great.
I'm great.
Stop doubting that you're not amazing and say, I'm amazing.
I'm amazing.
Stop doubting that you're not free and say, I'm free.
I'm free.
Stop doubting that you're not confident and say, I'm confident.
I'm confident.
Yes, because we forget to validate who we are because we are waiting for the person next to us to say those words to us. So see, I'm not waiting for Cynthia, right? Cynthia to say, oh, you're doing a great job up there. I already know I am. Because I got to believe in myself. If you don't believe in you, who will? If you don't pat yourself on the back, ladies, why are you waiting for your sister friend to pat you on the back? You better pat yourself on the back. You don't need them to tell you you're amazing and you're great. That should be something you always be able to tell yourself. So where is my doubter? Yes. I told y'all, it's freedom in it. Don't you feel free when you're taking the sticky? Like, yes, I'm getting rid of doubt. It's just a freedom to be able to say I'm okay, because see, there's a lot of women in here looking at us, right? Y'all all looking at each other. So when I step to her, it takes a lot of courage for her to say I'm willing to take that sticker of doubt, and that represents me. Because again, we're worried about what other people think, and we're looking at what everyone else is doing, and we're comparing ourselves because we feel like maybe I should have already been there or done that. No, because what someone else is doing might not be at the level that you're supposed to be. And if you only covered their level, you'll miss yours. So how many people are ready to get free? Truly ready to get free. Now, sometimes getting free means you'll have to be willing to do what? Get naked. But sometimes in order to get naked, how many people don't have enough power in them right now today to get naked on their own? Because sometimes you need help to get naked, right? Yeah. Sometimes you need a little assistance because, again, whoever got a sticky, say your word.
Doubt.
Fear comes. Doubt comes. Perfect. I'm perfect comes and you're ringing in your mind. I'm perfect. I'm perfect. What else? Lonely comes, girl. Disappointment comes and say, did you forget what you did? Oh, I ain't forget. Did you forget? See, lonely, all those things. What else? My last one. Self-sabotage comes and says, listen, it ain't going to work. It didn't work the first time. It's not going to work this time. So sometimes you need a little help. And so what did I say? I came all the way to New Delhi, India, so I can help you today realize that it's time for you to get real, right? It's time for you to truly, truly get naked. Because some of you ain't willing to get naked because you look at it as a real, out of the box thing. So let's really get out of the box and let's really get naked for real. Because some of y'all are not willing to get naked. Now she's like, oh my gosh, she's about to take off her clothes. Some of y'all are not willing to get naked, so I want you to really know you need to get naked. So I'm just going to give y'all a prime example today and get naked so you really understand it's time to get naked. See, some of y'all are like, oh my gosh, she threw her dress over there. She took her dress off. You focusing on the wrong thing. That's why I showed you that. Don't look what you threw off because that's the reason you were supposed to take it off. So if you keep watching what you took off, you won't miss it. Take it off and leave it there. Don't watch it. Don't keep going back picking it up like, oh, I got to pick it back up. I got to make sure I got it with me. No, take it off, leave it off, and get naked and stay naked. Take the fear, take it off.
Perfectionism.
Take the perfectionism and leave it off.
Doubt.
Take the doubt and leave it off. Take the disappointment and leave it off.
Lonely.
Stop being lonely and get you a man if you need a man.
Self-sabotage.
Stop self-sabotaging yourself. Literally 3 years ago, I had to go on a journey and realize that in order to get free, I was going to have to be willing to get naked. And I had to understand that no matter what other people thought about me, I loved me. So literally 3 years ago, I went on a journey and I started discovering who I was. I started loving me again. I started understanding that there were some things I was going to have to take off and leave off. Because we take it off and then we strap it back on. And then we carry it a little longer, the whole past. And we let it keep pulling on us while we keep trying to walk forward. But I realized I couldn't take any more steps in my power because I kept giving too much power to my past. So when I was willing to completely let go of my past, that's when I can fully be present in my today. Some of you are not present today because you're still living in your past of yesterday. Yesterday should only just be a reminder of how far you've come. So when you look back, don't look back and start staring back there at your past. It's just a reminder of how far you have come. So don't keep dwelling on it, but use it to say, if I had the power to get from there to here, my God, what is next? There's so much more greater coming in front of me, but if I just keep focusing on what's back here, I'll never be able to get what's here. So what I realized was there was so much greater ahead of me, but I would never get to experience it if I didn't leave my past in my past. So I got past and I dealt with the hurt. I dealt with the pain. I dealt with being afraid of what other people would think about me and feel about me. I let it go. And what I started focusing on was what he thought about me, how he felt about me, and how he sees me every day. And when that became important, see, you got to wake up every day, not worry about what other people feel about you, but most importantly, worry about how you feel about you. How many people actually really get up every day and tell themselves encouraging things? Great, because a lot of people don't. And so you get up and you hit the floor and you running to and from and you haven't even told yourself, girl, you amazing. Girl, go and knock them dead today. Girl, you got everything in you that you need. You are the bomb.com, right? You forgot to tell yourself who you were. And so if you're still feeling like you felt before when you were defeated and in bondage, that's still where you are. So I got up and I told you I would get up and it'd be light out, but it felt dark. Can I tell you today the light is so bright, I shine my high beams every time I step on stage, every time I walk in a room. I used to walk in the room like this. And you couldn't even tell, right? Because my head down. Why? Because I ain't believe in myself. What that mean? Your head down, you ain't got confidence. Right? So now I hit the room and I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. And I'm strutting. I'm not going to be in denial anymore because I used to be afraid to outshine other people. And I said, oh no, they better get to shining alongside me and turn their high beams on with me because I'm not going to dim mine so that they can catch up with the light. Because I was that person. I know what it feels like to feel broken. And like I said today, I love it because I'm unbreakable. And so literally I came all the way to New Delhi, India to let you know you could be broken, but I tell you, you can wake up and be unbreakable. But you got to first be willing to get naked. And don't pick back up. I could have picked back up my dress and put it back on, right? But that means I'm picking back up fear, disappointment, lonely, self-sabotage. I'm not willing to do that. What are you not willing to let go of? You have to ask yourself that question. What would I have to do differently today to think and believe differently about who I am? Because if you don't, no one else will. So until you're ready to start dealing on the inside, because the outside looks pretty. Everybody in this room looks amazing. But that's the outside. Let's see what the inside looks like. Is there amazing or is there some things going wrong on the inside? And you, in order to get free, you're going to have to get naked with yourself. So how many people are ready to get naked with themselves? So what is it that you're going to have to do to get naked? To get rid of your disappointment. But outside of your sticky, what else are you going to have to do to really get naked?
To be open and be present now.
To be present now, yes. So you're saying I'm in my past still. So to get present now, yes.
Be aware of my insecurities and to get to know what my insecurities are all about.
Yes, to be aware of my insecurities. To be aware of my insecurities so you know what your insecurities are all about.
You need to write them down and to find solutions to them as well.
Yes, right? You write them down and you identify, and listen. That is huge. That's big stuff right there. You got to write them down so that you can get aware of what they are. So let's say one now. Let's talk about one now. What's one?
One insecurity is, I think, which we're all talking about right now. We go into the past too much and we talk about things which have created a fear in our minds about relationships, about a broken relationship, to get scared of going into a new relationship, to write them down and say, no. Everybody's different, so we can find somebody nicer than the one we had before.
Yes. That whole lonely thing. She had the sticky note. That whole lonely thing, right, ladies? To know that if you've been in a bad relationship, right, that was one man. We can't judge every man based off that one. But can I tell you, women, that is hard. Because we're human. And we are scared to be hurt. Right? That's all about being scared to be hurt, because we believe there's a possibility that that second one will hurt us like the first one did. So we come in with the walls and our guards up and we protect ourselves. And that next man is saying, just let me in. And you're saying, oh, but I let you in, but you know good and well we ain't let them in. So my brother in the back chime in on it. Like, we got a man in the house, we love it, right? So as a man, is that true? You feel like, let us in, right?
It happens both ways. You cannot say these days that only women fear the same kind of feelings. The men also, both who are having a bad relation with a woman, the second woman which is coming in his life, he also feels the same way, just like women, because we are
yes, ladies, isn't that a revelation for us? So here we are thinking that we are the only ones going through this when the men we think we the woe is me, right? Like, oh, I've been broken, my heart been broken. But their heart has been broken as well. And they got to be mended as well. And so we all come together. Now we got these broken hearts and we trying to mend as one. And that's hard to do. So, okay, who's next? What you got to do to get naked? Somebody. Don't be scared. Remember, vulnerability. You're not getting naked if you ain't getting free up in here. You won't get naked. Expectations. Sometimes we have set expectations for ourselves that we know good and well is over the expectation that we can even accomplish. But you should always, I say this, so literally, I told y'all 3 years ago I had to go on that journey. Never once could I have imagined being standing right here on stage in New Delhi, India, 3 years later. I would have never imagined being here. But guess what? Now I wake up every day in expectations of whatever is in store for me. And I don't put any Band-Aid on that. I'm accepting of whatever it is. And see, if it's not what I thought it should be that day, I'm grateful for just that day. So those are the expectations we got to start looking at. Oh, not expectations that I got to be so much better than I was yesterday. All you got to do is just be a greater than yesterday. So another one. Anybody else? Yes.
Finish my book without it having to be perfect.
Yes. Oh, anybody else in here trying to write a book and you just procrastinating? So literally, I'm a 4-time author. And so had I been able to say I wanted it to be perfect, I wouldn't be a 4-time author, 3-time Amazon bestseller. So you must be willing to not be perfect. Because if you're waiting, what did I say? If you're waiting for perfect, you're waiting forever. You will never be perfect. It will never have 100% great lines in that book. But what it will have is whatever story you were supposed to tell. But here's the turnaround for all of you who haven't written and published your book yet. You are holding somebody else back from their next level. Because your story is what they need in order to get to their next phase in life. So if you can't get out of your past and stand present in your now, then you are holding somebody else still in their past. So how dare you want to get free, but you leaving somebody else bound? Write your book today. Don't wait. Map it out, plan it out, and get your book published. So today is May, what's today's date? Who got it?
11th.
May 11th. Set your date today of when your book will go to publish. And for everybody else who raised their hand, set the date of when your book should hit the publisher and outline back from there. You'll have no excuse of why it should be done. I literally published my first book in 30 days and my second one, which made an Amazon bestseller, in 2.5 weeks. Because I was determined that I wasn't going to hold on to what was supposed to be a blessing to somebody else. Because I know that to much is given, much is what? Required. And so you got to be willing to do your part. So how dare you get all you need but leave somebody else behind and not get what they need? So get your book out there so that somebody else can be blessed. Who else? One more? Do we have one more? Yes.
I am naked, and what I had to do to get there was let go of absolutely everything. Everything I thought about, who I thought I was, every single thing. And also let go of the need to be accepted.
That's
of
right.
always needing to have someone else's acceptance.
Yeah.
And also opening up to receive. And basically
And to learn
letting
and grow.
myself love.
Love.
To
That's
love,
huge.
To surrender into love, and that brought up huge fear.
Yes.
Love
That
with
lifted a
me.
huge.
Of course, love with me first, and then to surrender to be able to be loved
Mm-hmm.
exactly the way I wanted to be loved.
Yeah,
And
so that's that
choosing
lonely
for me.
sticker. That lonely
Exactly,
sticker.
there. I had to be lonely. Actually, I had to go through the pain of being lonely to realize I wasn't alone.
Yes.
Inside.
So how many others do we have that know you got to be lonely so that you can be loved, right? And so ladies, we got to get lonely so that we can be loved. And so if we're not willing to go through the lonely stage so that we can get to the love stage, we're going to miss out. So literally, it's time for you to let it all go. So when I took off and I got naked, I let it all go. Be open and open your heart and let go of everything that you are holding on to so that you can truly experience what it feels like to be free. Because freedom is amazing. Freedom feels amazing. Freedom looks amazing. And most importantly, freedom feels amazing on. And so literally 3 years ago, I didn't know what it felt like to be free because I was held in bondage. Well, today I show up and I'm free. I'm excited. I love me, and you can't tell me ain't good and me ain't great. Because I love me and I'm not looking for you to tell me I'm great or for you to give me the validation. I know my validation comes from within. So ladies, start working on the inside out. Because once you purge the inside, the outer appearance will work on itself. But you got to start within. You got to start. It's a mindset shift and change to believe that you deserve. Because see, that's it. Believe that you deserve to be free. Because whatever happened in the past is the past. Remember, just look back and it'll be a reminder of how far you've come. An expectation of where you're going. Because now you are open to love. You are open to be free. You are no longer trying to be perfect. You are no longer self-sabotaging your life. You are no longer worried about whether fear, because can I tell you guys, fear is never going anywhere. You will always have fear. The problem will become is whether you will deal with fear. And so you have to be able to tell fear, look, I understand it's going to be hard, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to take the first step and I'm going to have a courage enough to do it. And so you got to be willing to let go of fear and move and just take the first step. But can I tell you, after you take the first step, the second and the third is required. In order for you to keep moving, you got to keep stepping. So ladies, let's stand all over the room. And let's shout out because we're gonna close it out right with this, and then we'll open up for questions. Here we go. I am. Oh, and gentlemen, I'm sorry, I forgot you back there helping us out. I am free. Because I am amazing, confident, beautiful, no longer living in my past. In fact, I'm present in my now. I am unbreakable, unstoppable, unapologetic, and I am an unstoppable woman. Oh, y'all ain't said that. And I am an unstoppable woman. That's it. Thank you.